this is a Hardinge collet stop. I'm going to make a little part for this, which is that part. There's one missing. Basically all that happens, this goes into the back end of a 5C collet. You tighten up here, and as you tighten, those little boys get pushed out and grip on the collet. And basically, one's missing. So there's a 5C collet with a smooth bore. And this is marked up by Mike. So whoever Mike is, hello Mike. In it goes, tightens up, that becomes solid. And then using a variety of different inserts, you can set a stop. I think the idea is that that one goes in tight, and then when you've done your job, it pushes the job out of the collet, I think. Okay, the other type of 5C collet stop is this edge technology, which is very successful. Screws in, tightens up, and you've got a variety different stops on an Allen key there. This is the tiny little stop that we're making up. It's 3/16 nominal size, so we've got a 3/16 collet, and I'll put the stop rod in, the fine one, and set the length. So when I go on the lathe, that's roughly the stick out that I'll have. There's a little locator in there which goes with that little locator there. So a little pin, little key, and that's ready to tighten down now. So there's your part, pushed right in. There's like a bullet head on here, so I'll see if I can match a bullet head on this piece. Right, I've got a tool steel foam tool here, and that looks sweet, so we'll see if we can give that a go, eh? Right, I've got a good deal of stick out already here, and the top slide is going to foul on the headstock there. So what I'll do is I'll swap out the top side, put a different top slide on to give me clearance. Basically I can rotate this and lock it off any angle I want, but I'm going to set that back to where it was. Whack it off nice and tight, and we'll put the a 4-way tool post holder on. So the 4-way tool post holder, which is made for the machine, sits right up to the corner of the top slide. So I'm going to use some shims to set the tool on centre height. That's the centre height standard that I've got there. So finally, after resetting the 4-way tool post and fiddling about, we've got a form tool of 0 mid-dial. That's where I'm aiming to do my finish to. So I'll take my setup piece out and put my workpiece in. Yeah, high-speed steel's not touching that. Well, I couldn't trim that with high speed. So I'm going to whittle away at it. Bringing carbide in from different angles and just playing with the angle of the top slide. Okay, we made some progress. We're going to kick the lathe off. The feed's off. I've covered the ways, and we're going to grind this sucker to shape with my Dremel. Yeah, blighter. Guarded success with that. File won't touch it, so trying 100 grit on a file. Alright, well that's been V challenging. So what I've now got is the actual parts sat in the lathe. I'm touching off the diameter. Right, so there's my diameter. Zero my dial. Set my stop. And try and face this piece of hard metal off. Okay, well, I have to say, it's absolutely insane what these inserts can do in comparison to high-speed steel. I don't know how hard this stuff is, but the high-speed was getting nowhere. File got nowhere. Grit paper didn't get very far. Stones in a Dremel just about cut it. Okay, well the part's about there. I'm just going to break the edges with a needle file, a diamond needle file. There's the original, there's the replacement, and what I'll do is I'll mount those, tighten down, measure across the two good ones and then two new ones, or the one new one, and then make sure that it's engaging to the same depth as the other, so when it screws down it comes out at the same rate. Smashing. You can see down the bore how those little parts just sit into the centre. Old DA's back to the rescue. A couple of V blocks. We've just mounted this up. I'm going to measure across these and I'll see what the difference is. And if mine's a little bit too long, which it probably is, I'll just take it down with a needle file till it's right. Right, the scores on the doors are this one's measuring about, it's coming out about 4 or 5 thousandths more than the others, so I'm going to file the face down. Okay, so I've filed that down a little bit. It's not as smooth and smart as the others yet. We'll just see if mine's still the really tight one when it goes in. So I've adjusted this up again. they're all pretty much of a muchness. I think that's pretty even Stevens. So I'll smooth mine off. I've done it with a diamond file. I'll do it with 2000 grit, just so it's smart. And that's me done. That's my one. So into this 1/2 inch thread, we're going to put a bit of 3/16 rod. Okay, so we're going to poke a hole in the end. It's a 3/16 hole, so we'll go 1 drill size down from that. This is a dormer drill, so you can be pretty sure it's good. Yep. I'm going to clean off the sides, probably face it. Won't need much. On the feed, cross feed, drop the speed, sniff it with a countersink, plenty of sniffing. Got me a 3/16 reamer, it's a manual reamer. So I'll just work that in by hand. Okay, so we've poked the hole, squashed it in, bit of thread locker in there, job done. Going to do another one now. So here's the plan. We're going to poke a bit of 7/32 rod through this here. That could be hardened, so probably be soft at this end and hard at this end. Start that with a little centre drill. Got a stubby drill, so I'll put a stubby drill through. I'll run the 13/64 dormer jobber, about 700 RPM. Let's break that chip. Oh. That's where it's going through. I'll just knock it down. Speed where it's breaking through, see if that helps it. Yeah, it's just created a little lip. It's probably some hard stuff just there. There it goes. That's going through all the way, so it's going through to the hex, and the hex will be hard. I'll just break that corner with the countersink. Okay, girls and boys, we have lucked out. That's my reamer. It's on a 1 taper. That is cutting. There's a very fine swath coming out of that. The far end might not be cutting true. Might do it undersize. As you get down, it might cut truer, but that might be enough. And when I press that in, I'll heat that part, and that'll go nice. Right, I'll wind the tailstock back, and that'll just eject that 2 taper. Hits the tang. It's locked in here, good and solid. So just a little taper tool there. Don't drop the reamer. There we go. Okay. So there's my two parts. I'm going to press this part into this one. I'm going to degrease it first, see if it'll slip in. If not, put some heat on the thread. Okay, I can see my breath in here, but that's smoking hot. It's gone through. We'll just cool it down a little bit. There you go. A bit of the old oil on there. You might see a bit of smoke coming off. So, good. I'll go and do the next thing. Okay, back to some routine lathe work. This little grub screw's got a gnarly end, so I need to smarten it up. It's a collet job, but it's actually from the drawbar of my 5C. So I need another way to mount up a collet in the lathe. So what I'll do is put the chuck on. So it's a D14 chuck. That's a big old boy. 1, 2. Oh, this one came from Ray. Good man. Right. We'll mount a hex collet block, snuggle it in and get it good and true in that 3-jaw. In there. And although it's Frankenstein's monster, that will work. You can also put a 4-sided collet block in a 4-jaw and dial it in. That's too small a part to put in the multi-size collet. It's a nice size part. Actually, for an ER collet, it's a nice size part. Okay. See what that looks like. I'm just going to square off the end of this, dress it up. Job done. This is going to be hard, so let's have a look and see. Right, there you go, smashing. Oh, that's just released, and that's just going to lock up but not mar the other part it locks into. Fantastic. Okay, part number 2. Just pop that in and we'll nip it up. I'll get it in the right spot. Just tap that on. Tap that down. And I'm going to nip that up with the collet wrench there. High speed, low speed box. Pop it out. If you do have an ER collet, they're actually internally asymmetrical. So you can see there's an inner ring that looks like it's been mismade, but actually what it does, it locates into this groove as you tighten down. It tightens, but as you loosen off, it'll pull the collet off the part and allow it to eject. Okay, right, I'm back at the bench. There's your two grub screws, and I'm pulling a drawbar to pieces. Right, thanks very much for watching. That gives us a few options with that collet stop there now. Fantastic. Shed guy gone. Oh, that way.